Yeah.
Hey everyone, it's BoTW here, and for today's video, welcome back to another discussion topic, where this time we're going to be talking about what happened at the Nintendo Direct E3 Showcase. We all know in that presentation, there was a variety of announcements about more new games, and especially DLC, and it got a lot of fans hyped and excited. While some may think this is sort of mediocre for this year's Nintendo Direct, you cannot lie that all of the games in there were very hyped and exciting, and the DLC were even better as well. And we all know that this year, Nintendo has officially won E3, judging by the amount of views that were shown up from a lot of fans watching around the world. And the presentation this year, we all know they won this year's presentation, and especially E3 as a whole. But in my mind, I ask myself, what's the presentation and Direct for Nintendo the best one? Because in the past, there was a lot of best moments that were shown off from the past Nintendo Direct E3 showcases, such as from in 2019 and 18, and especially 2017. Not sure about 2016 and 15, or even 2012 because of the Wii U era, but all I can say is that in this video, we're going to be recapping most of the games that were shown off. I'm going to be recapping most of it and not all of it, because I am going to be talking about some of the biggest highlights that were shown there that got fans excited and hyped, and in the end, I'm going to be talking about three biggest highlights that were shown off that got fans very, very excited and happy. So that's why I'm going to be doing in this video, and also I'm going to be rating this entire thing if the Direct was either great, decent, or the best, or if I don't feel like it, I can just say if it's either okay or just really good. That's all I can say about it. And so with that, let's not waste time, but let's get straight into the recaps, highlights, and discussions. So first off, let's talk about the first big highlight in the part of the Nintendo Direct, which is Mario Party Superstars. All I can describe about this game is that this is basically Mario Party the Top 100, but way better. If you don't know what Mario Party the Top 100 is, I assure you it was not a good game. It was just bad. I'm not gonna lie. Mario Party the Top 100 has baited me into buying it. So Mario Party Superstars was a way to just, make me forgive about that game's existence. And not only that, they actually have better minigames, better boards, and really great characters. This also marks the return of Birdo, and by the looks of it, we do get to see some of the old minigames from all of the past Mario Party games, and especially the old boards from the past Mario Party games as well. So like I said, this is just top 100, but way better. I'm really excited to see and really play this game. Since Super Mario Party, it was a great game, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a great game, but Mario Party Superstars is just now going to be better and just now going to be part of my list. But for what I've seen, there were some comments saying that why couldn't this just be, like, I don't know, like a DLC sort of thing to Super Mario Party instead of just being its own separate game. Well, we gotta remember that Super Mario Party hasn't gotten any sort of brand new update since 2018. Aside from the brand new online update, there was really nothing else, and if they had the chance, they would have done that back in like 2019 or just 2020 or such, not like 2021, because I still play Super Mario Party to this day, but I feel that playing a brand new Mario Party game is pretty much better than I expected. Alright, the next highlight is something I didn't expect. WarioWare Get It Together. In my predictions on Twitter, I did stated that I didn't really think there was going to be a brand new WarioWare game due to the fact that WarioWare was more than just, like, I guess, more fitting for handhelds. Because in the past, WarioWare has been in most handhelds, and it does fit in a few consoles like the Wii U, Wii, and the Nintendo Switch now. Because, I mean, sure, the thing is that the whole point is that WarioWare is more likely than to be in handheld games, but the fact that it's now in the Switch really makes me excited, and the best part of it is that it has two-player co-op. Two-player co-op hasn't been a thing in WarioWare at all. I mean, WarioWare Smooth did have, like, a four-player thing, but the fact that you can play micro games with another person really makes it better, and this also marks the return of WarioWare coming to the Switch. Really makes me think that Nintendo still cares about this game, since it has been a while since the last game, which was back in 2018, I think it was 2018. I really can't remember, but WarioWare coming to the Switch, that gets a highlight, and I did not expect this at all. The next highlight is a very interesting one because this marks a return of a very dead franchise from Sega, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. Though I did remember there was another Super Monkey Ball game that came out for the Switch, but that was more than just like a remake for this. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania is a brand new one that hasn't gotten any new installment in a long time, and plus this year is supposed to be the 20th anniversary of Super Monkey Ball, meaning I and his other friends have returned to its very roots. So now, for those Super Monkey Ball fans, if you want to buy this, then I assure you that this will make you happy that this franchise is now back from the dead. Speaking of franchises that came back, Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp is a remaster and a remake to the old game's Advance Wars, and from what I've heard, this game was everyone's childhood. I'm not sure what this is, but I did remember a few things talking about it, and I'm not too sure about it, though I did see some of the few representatives that were shown in Smash Bros. Ultimate as spirits, but not just, I never heard of this game, but it turns out that this game at first came out in Japan for the Famicom, but then after that, a few years later, it then came out in the West localized. But after a long time, it hasn't gotten any brand new installments, like a third game or something like that. But now, since they're coming back, for those really who wanted to play this game once again, Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp is just for you. Alright, this is something to get excited about because Danganronpa is officially coming to the Nintendo Switch. I've been hearing a lot of really great things about this game, especially when it comes to the story, the gameplay, and most of all, the beloved characters. When everyone saw Monokuma being shown on the screen, everyone was excited because Danganronpa is coming to the Nintendo Switch, featuring all 4 different games, and especially more Danganronpa games, such as like that one summer game, featuring the Danganronpa characters are coming this year. I'm not sure what it was called, but right here you get to play all 4 different games, and I did hear a lot about this game because from what I've been described to, this game is basically like Among Us, though a lot of fans have been saying that this game is just anime Among Us, but we gotta remember that Danganronpa came out way before Among Us even exists. I think like 2013 or 14 at least, but Danganronpa coming to the Nintendo Switch, this might be one of my games list I want for this. I want to see what makes this game lovable. I want to see if this game really is great, and I want to see what makes the characters very lovable. And do you guys really recommend Danganronpa to the Switch to me? Because I'm very curious to see what makes this game very great at all. Since there's gonna be, since it is a 4-in-1 game, or was it 3-in-1? I really can't remember because this was a game that everyone wanted to see on the Switch, and now it came true. Alright, the next highlight is more of an obvious one since it is coming out next week, which is Mario Golf Super Rush. No, even though we all know this game is coming out next week, we all know there was an announcement that Nintendo will be adding free updates coming to the game along while just pretty much adding brand new courses to the golf courses and especially brand new characters. So it's like Mario Tennis Aces where they added like at least a brand new character every update, so this is pretty something. I mean, I'm really glad Nintendo is coming back to Mario Golf after not having a brand new installment in like nearly almost like a decade or so, because tennis, even though I love Mario Tennis, I really just think they need to go to a different sort of approach when it comes to Mario sports like I don't know, Mario Strikers, Mario Baseball, and especially Mario Golf. So this is a great triumphant return, and the fact they're giving more characters and more courses just makes this better. And now we get to the final big highlight that was shown in the Nintendo Direct before we get to the 3 big highlights of the presentation. Starting off with the final one, Shin Megami Tensei 5. Now, from what I've seen, there was a lot of comments and a lot of replies saying that this is basically a Persona ripoff, which, first of all, Shin Megami Tensei is the reason why Persona exists. It is the parent of the franchise, and I don't know, and I'm not sure about the history, but from what I've been told, it turns out that Persona is like a spin-off to Shin Megami Tensei, which is why they have the similar demons and sort of Persona-like feeling, but I'm not sure about its history. But Shin Megami Tensei 5, we did get to see a big gameplay, we got to see gameplay, its story as well, so for those Shin Megami Tensei fans, and for those who think it is like, I don't know, for those Persona fans, I might give this game a try. You might give this game a try. I have never played any of the past Shin Megami Tensei games, but I might one day. And now, this is the final big announcements. Now we get to the 3 biggest title announcements that was shown off, though the first one I'm going to be talking about isn't a big isn't really a big announcement, but it is really big to some of us. In the beginning of the presentation, we now know that our next DLC fighter for Fighters Pass Volume 2 would be Kazuya Mishima from the Tekken series. Now, there was a lot of mixed feelings. I'm surprised that no one knows what Tekken was, because Tekken has been one of the most selling games of all time. It's one of the most selling fighting games ever, and not only that, this also really, because Tekken, from what I heard, is actually the first game to be a 3D fighting game. So not only did Tekken was one of the best selling games, but this also started the whole like 3D fighting game sort of thing, and Kazuya being the Smash Brothers, this really is something else, and I'm surprised that it took very long for Bandai Namco to get a second rep, and especially having a Tekken character come into Smash Brothers, because Heihachi was originally going to be back in Smash 4, but due to how hard the moveset was, especially since Tekken is not really easy when it comes to making a moveset, because Tekken's playstyle is more complicated when it comes to command inputs, and Kazuya has a 10-hit combo. So I'm very curious to see what this character can do once the presentation comes on June 28th. But all I can say that this is one of the biggest announcements, though I've been hearing a lot saying that why was this character a waste and all, but dude, guys, Kazuya and Tekken is the reason why 3D fighting games exist to this very day. Alright, now we get to the big announcements. Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread was a long-awaited sequel to Metroid Fusion that came out back in almost 20 years ago. And this game was a huge highlight for Metroid fans, because not only does this mark the return of Samus, but also mark the marks of Metroid content coming to Nintendo Switch, because Metroid Prime 4 is yet to come out at some given point. But while we're waiting, Metroid Dread is something that fans and Metroid fans have waited for a long time, and apparently it turns out that Metroid Dread was a game that was apparently canceled and dropped out almost 2 decades ago, and this was after Metroid Fusion, and given the fact that Nintendo really went back to this game and really given this game more of a chance, really makes this better, because this game was once canceled, but now Nintendo has brought it back to the Nintendo Switch, and this was a long-awaited sequel for almost 2 decades, and not only that, this also marks a return of the Metroid series, because Metroid Prime is more like a 3D Metroid first-person shooter game, while the original Metroid is more than just a 2D platforming / Metroidvania game. So yeah, this is a really great thing. Plus, there was an announcement of a special edition to this game as well, as instead of the standard edition. So we're finally getting Samus some love, and especially WarioWare. I'm glad that Nintendo is bringing back the series after a few years of waiting. So this is a really great big highlight. But now we get to the biggest highlight of all, the Zelda content. So one of the first things that was shown off in the Zelda content in the presentation was a brand new Game & Watch system featuring a Zelda edition sort of style. It's like the Mario 35th anniversary Game & Watch with 4 games, even though the 4th one is basically a clock. Instead, the Game & Watch Zelda edition will be having 3 games, we'll be having 4 games from Zelda's 1 to 3, and the 4th one being a Game & Watch version of Vermin, where Link is the main character. So, I mean, I already got the Mario 35th Game & Watch version, but I am curious to see what this game was like when you play Zelda in it. So, this is a really good first thing to start off when it comes to Zelda content, and for its 35th anniversary as well. The next Zelda content that was shown up was the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity expansion pass, and we did get to see a good look of it, and now that I think about it, it just came out yesterday. So as I'm recording this video came out a day after the release of this DLC. In the DLC, we do get to see a brand new Master Cycle, brand new weapons, and a new character being the Guardian. I'm surprised that Purah and Robbie wasn't shown off there, even though they were part of the first teaser. I think they're still playable characters. I haven't seen the gameplay of it yet, but all I can say is that for those who wanted to expand your DLC and for Age of Calamity, then this DLC is for you. But the funny thing though is that I actually didn't notice at first when this DLC was announced was that Zelda wasn't part of the artwork. That was something I didn't notice, but now since she's in, I now know that Zelda wasn't part of this DLC expansion pass or part of the artwork. That was something I didn't notice at first. So yeah, I was pretty dumb to not notice that. It can't be an E3 2021 Direct without having showing off Zelda Skyward Sword HD. The game comes out next month, so it was obvious going to be shown off there, just like Mario Golf Super Rush, and given the fact that we'll be getting an amiibo as well next month, and this has turned out to be the most important Zelda game to Nintendo, and from what I've heard, this was a very important thing, because when it first came out on the Wii, it didn't really sell well, and when it came out on the Wii U again, it didn't really sell well as well, but now since the Switch has been one of the most highly selling consoles, it might be time for Zelda Skyward Sword HD to go back to its roots. But the one thing I'm very surprised of is that they didn't really show up Zelda Wind Waker or Twilight Princess HD at all, because I thought that was, I was certainly sure that it was going to be shown off there, but I guess not. Maybe in the next presentation they might. But now we get to the final part of the Nintendo Direct that got everyone excited and hyped for, aside from Metroid Dread. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. For almost 2 years, well actually it's been 2 years, for like 2 years, there hasn't been any sort of big updates that was shown off, but after the longest time, we have finally gotten a good look of what it looks like. We do get to see the story a bit of what's going on. It feels like Link was gonna get, like, I don't know, consumed by some weird particles or something like that. I'm not sure about the Zelda lore. The Zelda lore, in my opinion, is pretty hard to understand when you think about it. And the game will be coming out next year, which we're not sure if it's gonna be the winter 2022 release, but all I can say is that Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, it looks like it was gonna be taking place in the skies, just like Skyward Sword HD, but way better. And not only that, I think we all know that this could be one of the highest selling games yet, because Zelda Breath of the Wild has yet to be, like, to this day, has been one of the most best-selling Nintendo Switch games, and the best-selling Zelda game of all time. I'm not sure about that, that's just my opinion about it, but all I can say is that this is really amazing for Nintendo to show this off, because after 2 years, we finally get to see what sort of updates they are. I do want to see what the amiibos look like, and by the looks of the gameplay, Link has some weird sort of zombie arm in there, if you look up by the thumbnail, which I am very curious to see how that will work. And one of the gameplays that he can, like, reverse objects, like, in time or something like that, and he can go through, like, I guess, ceilings and floors. That is really interesting gameplay, and I want to see what this is like. Maybe they might show it up maybe somewhere in the next Nintendo Direct presentation, or maybe next year and all. All I can say is that this was one of the biggest highlights that got fans excited. And so those were one of the highlights that was shown off in the Nintendo Direct E3 showcase, mostly. So what do I honestly think of this as a whole? All I can say is that it was great. It wasn't the best, it wasn't amazing, but it was great. All I can say is that there was a lot of great games that I really want to buy this year. There was a lot of things, and I assure you my wallet will not be pleasant, is not going to be pleasant when I, buy all these games. And I really am excited to see what Nintendo has in store for us in the future. But with that, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you all think of this year's E3 Direct? Do you think it's the best? Do you think it's mediocre? Do you think it's okay? I want to know all your opinions down below. And so with that, leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell for more videos, follow my Twitter, and I'll see you guys the next time. And remember this, once a legend, always a legend. Like a Hellcat.